All right, my name is Christopher Anderson. I have a message from the Lord to the African American community. I've had this message on my mind a long time in my life. I needed a platform to launch it off of. I was not afforded a platform to launch it off of. So I'm just going to say my message right out. God has given me this message to say, so I'm just going to say the message. Number one, Bill Cosby was right. The African American community is blessed. Go to church. No matter how much we pray. Our prayers are hindered by our actions and the things that we do. Bill Cosby was right, one of the few African American leaders to speak up about it. But of course, you'll get violated, cussed at, told that you're wrong because everybody wants to be on the side of evil and not on the side of God. And I hope I will prove that in this video. All right, number one, we're going to talk about the issues that face African Americans, only African Americans. We're going to talk about teen pregnancy. We're going to talk about the situation of us being high school dropout. We'll talk about our education level. Single parents. Yes, we're going to go there. I don't care who don't like it. We're going to go there. Fatherless children in the household. It's fatherless children and the father's not being in the household is one of the main priorities on God's mind. You can look it up. Census Bureau, government, the churches, everybody. It's the main situation. But yet, females do not want men in the household. That has a lot to do with not being corrected. It has a lot to do with not having truly God in your life. And sorry that's just the way it is. Pray about it. Ask God about it. About I get these stats from Census Bureau and various other places on the web. You can look up the stats yourself. The first thing people say when you get stats and statistics on things is, oh, they might be fake or they're not true. Well, this is what we have to go by. And you can look up stats and do your own research for yourself before you ask me where I get my stats. I know I've talked about this in the past, and many people say, well, where do you get your information? Well, where I get my information is the same place you can get your information. So I'm going to read off now my teen pregnancy stats. African Americans, the teen pregnancy stats amongst African Americans is 70% compared to 30%. So it's high in Hispanics. But African Americans, we're only talking about African Americans, that's 70% compared to whites, 34%. African Americans in jail, African Americans make up, and this is very interesting. United States of America is the #1 jailer, Russia being second. The #1 jailer, more people in jail in America than anywhere on the face of the planet. African Americans make up 48% of people in jail versus whites. Catching up, listen to this, 47%. And I know why that is. I'm going to get back to that later, and I'm going to talk about that. Americans in jail, and it should be very obvious why. Whites, I hope you are paying attention to this, even though it's for African Americans, but whites are catching up. And it's since the oppression and slavery days, yes, a lot has been put on us, but now it's catching up to the oppressor. So that's very interesting information they should be aware of. 47% of whites are in prison now, and it's growing. Okay, high school dropout rate. African Americans make up 42% do not graduate. 40% of whites graduate high school compared to 42% of African Americans. To me, that's right there. That's our parents need to. We'll get to that. College degrees, graduating. African Americans, 42% complete black bachelor's degrees and go on to graduate, compared to whites, 60%. Hispanics is 49%. Now, 49% of Hispanics are graduating at a higher rate, even though Hispanics college education at a higher rate than African Americans, which is 42%. Okay. Single parents. Fathers are not out. Single parents, 82% of single parents are mothers. So it's obviously an issue of the father not being in the household. 72% of African Americans are come from a single parent household. So we got 72% of fathers not in a household compared to white. Get this, 27%. That's a big gap. And not having families. It's a lot of implications when you don't have a father in the household or a spouse to stand beside you. And our women are just jumping on the bandwagon where we don't need men, we don't need men. That's not of God, that's not of the Bible, it's never been. And our ladies put a badge of honor on, oh, I'm a single parent, I'm a single parent, I raised my child on my own, so we should get a pat. You don't get a pat on the back for that from God. Okay? It's I'm really sorry that you had to go through the thing, but what you put on. And we're going to talk about that first off. Most of it is what you put on yourself. This is a very thing I wrote down. This is a very interesting thing. 90% of runaways and homeless children come from fatherless home. 90%. I worked for the social service community foster care at one point, and foster care is in the world is backed up, but there's a lot more children in foster care than in traditional family homes. Okay, black males 3 times more likely to die in a homicide than white males, and that's between the ages of 15 and 19. Black males, I should say black youth, between the ages of 15 and 19 years old, still teenagers, more likely to have a homicide than white kids, and white kids at a rate of 20% compared to the 46% of black males. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, you may be asking yourself, I read off all these things, you may be asking yourself why all these things are not because we went through slavery. These things are happening because, I got a couple items here to help me out today. These things are happening because, it's my Bible, because God put a test on us. Okay? At one point, we were everybody knows that we were honorable people. Now, when we go through trials and tribulations, God always make a test to make a testimony. Always send us through a test to give us a testimony. Well, we've been in a test for 400 years, and we have yet to give a test. This is our testimony, and it's just this is unacceptable. This is horrible. Now, starting from the teen pregnancy rate, our women, sorry to say, that I'm going to use some words that are not friendly. Bastard is one of them. We're having a lot of bastard children. And when I say bastard children, it might sound, get over it, it's not a cuss word. Bastard is not a cuss word. Bastard is a word, it's a term. And the actual, it refers to the actual politically correct term, illegitimate. Illegitimate to it shouldn't sound that bad, but it needs to hurt. If it hurts your feelings, then it hurts your feelings. It needs to bring some shame back into us. Because when we hear the word illegitimate, we don't feel affected at all. We say, oh well, that man left us, or we left us in the household. Well, when you're having a teen pregnancy rate of 70%, of course you're going to have a single parent household of 72%. Now, that's not because you can't find a man. That's not because God did slavery or anybody did anything to you. That's because you're allowing your children to have sex in the household. You allow them to get a hold of things that they shouldn't have at a very young age. Videos, TV, movies, media. I have things here that will testify to that. This is what we call literature nowadays for our young girls to read. Our young girls are reading it more alarming than our young boys are reading. This is what we call literature. I'm going to get around to that too later. This is what our young boys and our image of a black female is. This is disgusting. Certain disgusting things that we partake in, and that we make these things TV sitting right on your shelf, and you bring your child up while you're buying a donut or a hot dog and have this sitting right there, and you explain it to, or like the young ladies explaining these magazines that they're models. This is not this. I don't think this is modeling. This is not modeling. This is something else. And we need to start, first thing we need to start doing with God is telling the truth. This is porn, this is soft porn. This is soft porn. This is soft porn. But I'm not going to get off track. I'm going to get back to this in a few minutes. I got a lot of other things to get to, but we're going to talk about that. That's what our mindset of our youth nowadays. It's really not their fault. It's our parents' fault and our family. It's their responsibility. We need to stop taking fault and take responsibility. Now, our women, we have a whorish Jezebel mindset of our black females. I have an African friend that's African from Africa, and he said that that women would never do some of the things that black Americans do in his country. When he came here, he saw women, black African women, do things that was off the chain, off the hook. And of course, he liked it. I like it. All men like it. But it's unacceptable. What we're doing is raising whores. We're raising whores. Our daughters mean that much to us that they become whores and tramps. Well, my daughter's not a whore and tramp. I will not allow my daughter to read this kind of stuff, and I'm damn sure will not give this to my child as reading material. When white kids are reading Harry Potter, white kids are reading James Patterson's book Fire. We give our children to learn how to read this. So I'll get back to that in a few minutes. This is disgusting. God is not pleased with none of that. In the African American area, that learn from the world, God wants you to stop that. There's a tool I would recommend for women if they want to really truly take what I'm saying to heed. A lot of people are going to give me cuss outs and all that kind of stuff and say I'm wrong. A lot of studies are going to say I'm wrong. But I bet you any amount of money, put your money where your mouth is, you can't prove me wrong. But if you dig in it biblically and look at it from a spiritual point of view, you won't find not a thing I'm saying to be a lie. But a very good tool for our ladies to get out of this Jezebel whorish nature that's a spirit that's surrounding them and captured our African American females. It's Dr. Juanita Bynum's No More Sheets. I've said it times, and if anybody want to get out of that lifestyle and get a real man in your life and get a family in your life, that you need something that you're supposed to deserve, and you deserve it. Our women deserve that, and our men deserve to have a woman of virtue and not be all whored up by the time they turn the age of 25, some earlier than that, whored up by the time they turn 12, 13, 14. This is disgusting. These are disgusting. You can't, no way you can get God to co-sign on these things. These things are disgusting. And have your daughter whored out at 12, and play it off like they're in fashion shows and stuff like that. As soon as you women out there whored off, you defend it. Well, I'm like this way because, or this man did that. God is not listening to none of that. You're doing this to yourself, and you're doing it at a 70% alarming rate, and it's not going to stop. It's only going to get worse until we turn to God and ask for atonement for the things. I'm talking to you, African-American females. I will get to you, African-American men, in a minute. You're not off the hook. Our females, 70% of us, need to stop what they're doing. Stop watching Kim Kardashian's whore show with your daughter and your sons. Stop watching and some of the shows that put this image and mentality in our girls, the Jezebel spirit in our females' mind, and it's taken to the African American race. The devil. We say we go to church. We got the black church. Come Monday morning, the banks are recording a big, alarming number of money from the black church. The black church is doing very well. The church is doing well, but I see our people are not. And we got black leaders. I mean, you got to ask yourself, why is this not working? Well, it doesn't take 20 years to solve a problem. It's not working because most are not going to get you out of this mess. God is. Whites are not going to get you out of this mess. God is going to be the one that says, I want this to stop. But before God says he wants it to stop, you have to say you want it to stop. Our men, let's get to our men. Our men, our men are so, we're not criminals. The jail statistics say that we are 48% in jail, but we're not criminal. I looked that up. Why? It's because of the drug trade. That's an economic problem. We're not criminal. This horse and this big, but I mean, I like the form of a beautiful woman myself. But we turned the black woman into a disgusting, unvirtuous whore. And then we won't marry them. And then we blame them for a lot of that stuff. This kind of stuff, they don't perpetrate this on themselves, and not a white man. You perpetrate this on them because you have an appetite for deviant, sexual, coarse behavior. And so you tell our females things like, don't knock it till you try it, girl shit, you got to get what you want. Various slogans we done had over there. This has been going on for at least 20 or 30 years since I was a child, since back when I saw a movie, black exploitation movie, of how we exploit our female. This is the mother of our children, the baby mom. We done reduce her to baby mama. And this is how she got to make her living nowadays. This is unacceptable. God doesn't like it. It's wrong. It's wrong to our females. We got whole media dedicated towards this. We even got living these things, and then these are our children's role models today. Nicki Minaj is our children's role model. My daughter has to go say, on the radio, that's not legitimate music. We're going to get to that in a few minutes, the media, how the media, this is all media. We're going to get to that. Who's running the media nowadays? It's not white people. We're fueling them. They're just making money off of it. They're giving us exactly what we want. You would do it too. It's got to be you to say, this is not my wife. This is not my mother. I can say that, and I have conviction in my heart because I'm a Christian, and that's what God has told me to tell you. You can't say because you have an appetite for your mother with your daughter. You have an appetite to see your daughter in tight-ass clothes. Oh, Lord, forgive me. Yeah, you have this is why our children are running away from home. We're not blessed. We go to church every day and say hallelujah, praise Jesus and everything like that, and you got a report card like this. They'll call you with 100% right. Nobody wants to say it. I'm going to get to that too, why nobody wants to say anything. But this is disgusting. Disgusting. I'm telling you right now, this is disgusting. And God is nowhere in it. I may say what I'm saying is true, but it's true. God is nowhere in that. And it's disgusting. This type of media, we should stop altogether. And it's easily stopped when you're when you're somebody that's for God and that want to fight these things. But it's hard nowadays for our parents and our Christians because of our, let's get to it, our media. Our media drives this because let me just say it right off the bat. Our hip hop culture, our rap. There's nothing good coming from rap. There's not one good rapper out there. You might think, if I had diabetes and I like sugar, sugar is good. One type of sugar is bad to me. Okay, and that's what we got to do as a black community towards this hip-hop, niggerish culture that we could just ghetto. We glorify ghetto now. We glorify to the point where all our media is affected by it. TV shows, they got whole white TV. This is why whites are going to jail now. White TV shows are starting to pick up niggerish overtones and traits. We got whites throwing their heads like this. This is disrespectful thing. The devil is teaching us very well. And now we got the white people mimicking. The white people, if you can't beat them, they're saying, well, we made this bad thing, but we can't stop it, so we'll join them. And then we got white people coming up with these types of faces, these ignorant faces, the same ones. We get 50-cent faces when we get the black people doing like this. We so hard. And we got our children mimicking, doing signs and stuff like that. That's what people do when they do that. They're scared, and I can't. White people are scared. Black people are scared. The devil become part of our hip hop culture, and it's become part of our rap culture, and it's spread. Now, I will say that's part white Americans' fault, Caucasians' fault. They did nothing to stop it because it only affected black people. Well, guess what now? It's starting to affect you too. Now it's starting to spread to our suburban communities. I was on an airline one time, and a white kid was behind me in the line. He had a whole bunch of rap CDs. And, of course, you got to have that stuff searched. And the mother, I searched the stuff. I used to work for TSA, and I searched the stuff. And the mother said, oh, I can't stop him. I just let him. Well, let's just say that in your house. The whole infrastructure of this hip-hop negative community is an infrastructure of hell, of the devil has made, teaching us very well. And now that he's taught us, he's spreading along to other races. We got Chinese people trying to get the hip. Everybody can act black nowadays. Everybody can try to simulate this stuff because we got a lot of scared people that's scared to speak up against the hip-hop culture. Or if I speak up against the hip-hop culture, everybody thinks the big rat boys are somehow going to come get us. And that's the whole overtones of the video. We see we're bombarded with the devil. We get 50 Cent looking into hard face, and people with the hard face. These hard faces say, "Oh, I'll kill you if you speak it." We part of the devil. You're not. Forget your church. We doing what they didn't make excuses of. We doing this because it's entrepreneurship. It's a business. We've been oppressed. We're making money. All this in the name of our children. Like we need a great movie I like for everybody to go see. It's called The Game. I think. I forgot the name of the movie, but when the rappers say, "I don't give a crap about your children. I'm just trying to make money." If I'm crap, I'm in a couple we don't care nothing about your kids. Your role model, they say it's like the devil trained them well. They train. The role model is your parents. You knowing damn well that you got a 70% dropout rate and a 70% single parent rate. Well, now the opportunity is all on the parents' back now. Well, that's one thing I like about white parents. White parents don't have that. White parents will say, our problem is, I was listening to Coco Brother, I'm in Baltimore, Maryland. There's a show here on the radio on a religious channel called Coco Brother Live. Saying, "Oh, black issues. What are we going to do about it? And our black leaders, I'm going to get to that right now, black leaders and everybody, we're going to entertain and talk about this thing straight into hell. I get so tired of people trying to entertain, seduce our children, glorify all this stuff, and make excuses for it. The guy got on there and said, if my child gets pregnant or whatever in my home, or my child becomes a homosexual, I'm just going to kick him out. I'm through. He said, "Oh, that was wrong. We got to love from the heart." We've been doing all that. That's the biggest excuse, everybody. We love it. Some people go right to the club with their children, dance right there with them. Our children get gay. I love them for who they are anyway. Our children have a baby. The mother takes the baby in the household and they raise them as their own. Raising the daughter right beside the child. White parents, they don't do that. Nobody else does this single parent thing so stupidly than us, and God is not pleased. Nobody and no other race on the planet, including the Africans, which we come from, do this single parent thing so dumb. One thing I like about John and Angelina Jolie, everybody knows who Angelina Jolie. She had promiscuous behavior, whorish behavior when she was younger. Got into acting, the father got into her to acting. She got into her inheritance from her father, and she started acting a fool. The father said, "No, I disown you." And this woman became human ambassador, everything, just to gain her father's approval back again. Of course, they went back and got rekindled their relationship, their father and their daughter, after she became human ambassador. A lot of people have been fooled by all that. I mean, I don't know disrespect all the good work that she's done, but we had a whorish mentality, and her father said, "No, I'm not having it. You're gonna get out of my family." And I'm not saying we should do that to our children, but we need to start having tough love. We need to start praying on our knees and then getting up and having, it says faith without works. Some things you just should not allow your children to do. Okay? Of course, now Angelina Jolie just went back and stole, what's her name, something that, I don't mean to fame her or anything like that, but some things, and that's in her spirit or whatever, but we got to, I'll just pray for her. Well, God don't want you to pray for her. He wants you to raise. I'm sorry, I don't like that word raise. Red rises, okay? We're supposed to be trained. The Bible says train a child in the way they should go. This Bible says train a child in the way they should go. It doesn't say raise anything. Red rises, and children can rise on their own. Everything will grow. If you leave it for 18 years and come back, she'll be well rise. You're supposed to be trained to give her biblical lessons, virtue. And if she runs away from it, the Bible says she won't depart from it. Okay? One of the good scriptures I like in the Bible is people will turn from their wicked ways. Turn from their wicked ways. Not the white man's wicked ways, not anybody else's wicked ways, their wicked ways. Then he shall heal their land. Then he shall heal their problems. I'm going to get back to solutions later, but right now I would give this challenge to the African American community. If we were to atone as a whole, plus African, and I'm going to tell you why. I did a study, and I looked at Africans' behavior, and I looked at African Americans' behavior since we come from them. And the two things that we have in common are and sex. They have a high age rate, of the highest in the world in Africa. Fighting and sex, for whatever reason, they have that high age rate or whatever. What the British are doing, something, taking over their colonies or whatever, their land is split, whatever. The two things we have in common, and from us and our ancestors and our people that we are from, is fighting and sex. We're bad at both. Now, that's a problem that we need to atone to God for. And my solution to that is, I don't just talk and not give God gives. And that's now. You don't see Minister Farrakhan fighting this. You don't see Jesse Jackson fighting this. I met on occasions Al Sharpton. He actually speaks up against it. But you don't see these people speaking up. You don't see the NAACP giving R. Kelly awards while scandal was going on. You don't see these people speaking up against it because we're not doing one thing. We allow the hip-hop world to stay like it is because they defend their stuff so bad. We allow the church to be over here. And we're trying to raise our children in a godly way while letting this thing go on. We're supposed to be combat. That's why our church needs to be combat nowadays. And say what's wrong is wrong. What you do is wrong. Homosexual behavior is wrong. That's stemming out of it now. We never had that many African Americans. It's been proven that they're not born that way. So it's a hip hop fad now for our girls to mimic boys with their pants hanging over. That's I can prove that. That's part of being gay. Prove it to me. I thought gay was wanting to opposite sex. I didn't know it had anything to do with how you look and how you walk and how you talk. And now we got girls walking around with braids in their hair, shirts, big shirts, and pants hanging off their butt, mimicking the hip hop culture of our male. You're mimicking that because this is coming out of it, and you're trying to not beat them and not join them. And our boys are high-fiving our girls and liking them for it and everything like that. That's where we get our lesbian nature from. The devil is just giving you a pat on your back for doing all these things and saying it's okay. That's why our guys like our girls the way they are nowadays. And we need to stop this kind of training. But let me get back to a solution. If we as a whole, African Americans and Africans, atone our behavior, I guarantee you racism would be cured overnight. I'm saying a radical statement right now, and I'm saying it in the Lord. I guarantee you we can wipe out institutional racism everywhere. And I can prove it. We can wipe it out everywhere if we just atone for our behavior. Just atone for that type of behavior. Say what we're doing wrong. God, shame the devil, call the devil a liar, and make God proud of you. And say, I want to atone for the things that we're doing. We need a nation. We need to get together and atone for these things. And say, these things are wrong. The hip-hop culture you created. Everybody say, I don't know something about these numbers. That's why these numbers can't be disputed. I did my research. You do your own research. We need to atone for what we're doing as a solution. And I guarantee you we can wipe out racism. It would take 20 years, like everybody take 20 years to do. Well, you can't have God on one hand and the devil operate in one hand in your life. You can't go to church on Sunday and then on Saturday and Friday you in the hip hop club and you watch your children watching this and you got 50 Cent on the radio and you got all this hell and the devil just preaching to you on the radio saying, hey, you're going to do one or the other. And your life is going to show, well, our lives are showing. That's all I have to say. I mean, well, it's not all I have to say. I have to say about that matter, but our lives are actually showing where our heart really is, and it's not for God, And if you turn the radio off, and I know some of you got it hard out there because a small percentage of people that are really trying to be on God's side and not have all that stuff in their lives. But yet, when your child goes to school, she got to look at some child with his pants hanging off the butt, and then they got to get inducted into that mindset. Well, the reason why that's happening at an alarming rate is because the black church membership has gone down very low in the last 5 6 years, and it's getting worse. The Bible says that when God comes back, He comes back for the church first. I used to wonder why. I'm like, good church people, good people. Why are you coming back for the church first? Because it's our job to combat evil in the world. And we don't come. Churches aren't preaching about what we're doing wrong. We can preach Jesus all day. If you don't stop the child from understanding why this is threatening him and why our females are being turned into whores, if you don't address things, they're gonna make that's what's happening. They're gonna make a decision to go elsewhere. Well, I won't look. These guys are preaching too. They're preaching louder than you, and they're doing it more than one day. They're not doing it. This is 7-Eleven. The 7-Eleven is 24/7. 24/7. You can take off this stuff 24/7. I can't go on 7-Eleven and get Mary. I can't go in and get a Mary CD. I can't get a Mary magazine. I can't get a Kirk Franklin magazine. I can't get a T.D. Jakes magazine. I get that stuff on Sunday. This stuff is available 24/7. So somebody's preaching, and they're preaching elsewhere. When I go in Walmart, and go shopping with my kids, this is even though there are religious books there as well. Yeah, I gotta give it. We do have Joel Osteen books. We have T.D. Jakes books as well. But we got this there. My daughter got to ask me, "Hey, Dad, what's that?" You know, I can better explain what this is if my church was explaining it. My church was fighting evil, and other people were fighting evil just as well. And that's what's going on in our media. Everything black. What I learned in life is, one time I did a study. Everything BET back in the day used to broadcast videos in the middle of like tip drill and everything. And not of God. That stuff. Well, we never called it, and no one ever did anything about it because it's just black entertainment television. I'm ashamed to call it black entertainment television. That's not black entertainment television. That's niggerism television. And Mr. Johnson that ran it, he doesn't run it anymore. They took the videos off, but the damage is done. That's soft. That's porn. That's porn. That's soft porn. Rap videos. What we should have did. I got solutions. I'm a leader. I'm a real leader. What we should have did is gone to the FCC and asked them to ban put censorship over our the videos would have been cut down, and when they got us in our faces and said, "Oh, you messing with our rights and whatever," we could have made that porn. You're not allowed to broadcast porn on TV unless you say you're doing something. That's porn. Last time I see porn on TV, when you got to order porn. It's not just openly shown on TV. You got to order it. Last time I seen porn channels, you go to a porn channel. I'm pointing to my cable upstairs. You can go to a porn channel. It's blocked out. You have to call a cable company and order it. We get BET was running for years nasty videos. And we said they were rap. We described everything in our media as art, entertainment, modeling. No. The devil don't like, God don't like a liar. It's not, it's porn. It's porn. Everything I realized back in the day, the black BET, black entertainment television, Black Planet on the internet, everything with the word black on it, once you dive into it, the first thing you start seeing is this. And this is not us. But this is not us, and this is not who we are, and it's unacceptable to God. God don't see you. And this kind of worship, and the Bible says his people Cain and Abel came and gave a sacrifice, and God turned away one second. Is this a sacrifice that we got to lift up to the Lord? God's going to turn away. He's not going to accept you into the kingdom of heaven. You're not going to be part of, he's not going to give you a pat on the back and say, well, you're a good, faithful servant, if you didn't combat this in your homes, in your churches, in your schools. Okay? Stop letting somebody else do the work. Rowley fact is the only person I see out there that's combating stuff for black people. Yeah, he brought Russell Simmons on one day and said, this is hip-hop community is not good for our children. And, of course, Russell Simmons was arguing left and right that it was, and it wasn't to his sponsorship was threatened that he turned back and said that, yes, you're right, Mr. O'Reilly. Because everybody want to blame it on the white man. The white man's not trying to do that. The white man's job is not to clean up your mess. You know, they have their own, God will see to them and their own problem. And it's all about the white man. God wants to see what you're going to do and how you're going to handle it. Now, we got honorable examples, Barack Obama being one of them, Martin Luther King, Dr. Benjamin Constant. These people overcome, and these people are people that you want to pray for you and make change. This man right here, making changes. And it's historical and monumental because he's doing it versus the culture, counterculture. I don't believe that this is what I am. I don't believe that Sasha and Malia, this is what Sasha and Malia are. I don't believe this is what so we need to atone for some of these things that we're doing. We need to reverse this trend. And it don't take 20 years to do it. Everybody nowadays, we need 20-year plans, and it's Coco, brother, beware. We having people making programs. You can program all day you want. You can pray all day you want. God wants you to do one thing: atone for what you're doing and combat it. Call a wrong. Call a spade. Okay? This is porn. I'm not breaking. This is porn. When you look at this, is open right on the shelf. This is a woman's derriere. Okay, this is not model. This is not model. Okay, it's not. There's no articles in this book. There's only interviews talking to the ladies. In every article, talking to the ladies. I'm quite sure the women don't write this stuff. On every article, they're talking about sex. So when did you like to be a model? I love to see myself naked. Last time I checked, models don't model naked. Okay, unless they model naked in a certain magazine. I find it boring and bland to be a runway model. I like to model naked because I have a good big. This kind of stuff is porn is getting to our children's mindset, leaving it laying around your house. Nowadays, you don't have to go out and get it. Back in the day, you had to go out and get a magazine. Now we got this stuff disguised as modeling, and this is our social media of the day. Now, I want to get to these. This is the biggest lie you perpetrate on our black community. These books, I like to call them Zane books. They're the first ones I introduced the Zane books. Here's something new to discuss and come up with about the black community, and we don't know about it. We let everybody else laugh at us. This is our newest discuss. Now, our reading rates were low in school, so we had to improve reading. Here comes Zane books. We read these, we got the overtones of sex. Same thing I was telling sex and drugs. These are disgusting. I'm not having these books. These are someone else's book that I borrowed to do this video. I want to throw out about a family member that's 20-something. This is a literature. Read it. You don't just have to read, you have to comprehend. And when you read Harry Potter, James Patterson's Fire, and their imagination is being challenged, and they're growing intellectually. What is this going to do? You don't just read. Okay, now they know how to read. The goal is to read so you can. It's what you read. The goal is to read so they get and become more intelligent, expand the vocabulary and their imaginations and their intelligence. This doesn't do nothing for us. Write that down again. Whorish mindset. Now we develop it, and I'm sorry to say, the young ladies don't buy these books. 14 and 15 years old, 16, 17 years old, they don't buy these. How are they buying it for? Father, you wonder why they're running up this 90% in children run away, 90% run away in their home. What's not trash in their house for their daughter? Why are you buying these things about children? Our use is ignorance. They're learning how to read. Well, purpose of the whole thing, that's just like saying you're giving them hot acid. The purpose of drinking is so you can drink something healthy. The purpose of eating so you can eat something healthy. The purpose of is to comprehend. They're comprehending just fine that they ain't nothing. They're not worth anything. Their body, you got to sell their body for sex. Every time this stuff is getting worse and worse. I mean, what's next? Every year when I was younger, when I was going to high school, every year when I was in high school, I used to wonder, the next year, what would our female girls be wearing? One year there was Daisy Dukes. The next year there was leggings. Leggings are seen as being, that's under the Bible says, walk as a child, talk as a child, but when you become a man, you put childish things aside. Now that I get older, I'm wondering to myself, when's it going to stop? The next day I can almost predict it. I can almost predict what they're going to be wearing. They're going to be wearing see-through pants. See-through pants where you can see the thong at the end. And now our boys are picking it up. Our boys are picking it up, wearing their pants hanging out their butts. Just like the women wear the thongs hanging out their pants. When are we going to... God is not in any of this. And he's not liking any of this. And our churches aren't going to grow. Going to get a blessing until we combat this evil in our let me put it in God's terms. Let me put it in God's words. Until we turn from our wicked ways. Until we turn from not no one else's, our wicked ways. When we do that, that's when God's going to intervene in our lives. That's when God's going to come into our household. That's when God's going to send you a man. That's when God's going to send you a woman, a Proverbs 31 woman, a woman of virtue. Not 7 babies, 6 and 7 babies, and then when she gets over, then she try to find a man, and then say it's the man's fault that does that. He don't want to, that you're not kept. You didn't keep yourself. Well, don't keep yourself. Allow God to keep you. But before you have to do that, you have to let God come into your life by asking God to come into your life, and for you to atone for these things. This thing is horrible and it's unacceptable. Horrible and it's unacceptable. And if you're co-signing with the devil, if you got the hip hop community blasting all the rap blasting all in your car and everything, and you say something's all right with that, then you out of the devil, because all that stuff was created out of Satan and created out of hell. And if you are then that's how you got your bastard child. That's how you, and I'm using that word. I hope it. That's how you got your bastard foundation. There's a book out called Bastard Nation, and that's exactly what we're becoming, a bastard nation, an illegitimate nation of people. You can look at the words when you read what's determine what words mean. Illegitimate means that there's something that has to be legitimate, something has to be valid. If you're illegitimate yourself, and when I say illegitimate yourself, I don't mean you're illegitimate or you're a bastard. If you're making yourself that, then you're going to have illegitimate. Now, legitimately, doing things legitimately will get legitimate results. Why would you want your child to be illegitimate? Why would you want yourself to act illegitimate? Why would you want an illegitimate nation? Why would you hold that in high esteem? That's exactly what we do with the hip hop community, with the 50 Cents, with the M&Ms. And we think that stuff is an art and a great business and everything, and it's not. And it's going to be tough. It's tough for me. Well, it's not tough for me because God put it in my heart to say so. But I know it's got to be tough because a lot of people just ain't speaking up about it. Nobody. These guys got this. They actually say what I'm saying, and they're not saying it. They're not saying it. Because they're scared that the rapper's going to... I've seen interviews with rappers. When principals of schools say, yeah, you need to stop this, and the rappers come up and say, well, that's your problem, and that maybe you should be talking to the perp. No, I'm holding you responsible. And I'm doing it. And they should say that. No, I'm doing it with the name and the blood of Jesus. I'm holding you responsible. And then you got to know when something's the devil. Then they'll... You like that magazine? Of course I like that magazine. That's a woman on there. I mean, you say I like the woman. I like the way she looks. That God created you to look like that for a purpose. Not for me to stick her in a magazine and exploit her. So at one point, yeah, I like what God has made, but I don't like what man has done with it. And I'm brave enough to say it. You're not. Most of you people out there are not. Most of you people are not, and we're not getting any new leaders because all the young people have co-signed on it. A young person will tell you in a hot second, oh, hip hop, that's good stuff, and you can get smart. Atmosphere is brewing up in, and our girls are getting more out of control, fighting and everything now, because they have a whorish mindset in them. And that's all because we're trying to make legitimate something that's not legitimate. Now, saying all that, and I can't say enough, really. I cannot say enough, because I wanted to get through to most of you. But I'm going to say certain things. Again, teenage pregnancy is wrong. Single parenthood household, I don't care how much you don't like what I'm saying. God don't like it, and it's wrong. It be that you digress from, but to shoot from it off the top and not get married. We have no marriages in our community. Nobody wants you that much to marry you. That's what you're basically saying when you're saying, okay, single parents, okay. You're basically saying, no, I'm not good enough for anybody to marry. But you're not starting off marriage, people. Stop lying. The reason why you got single parent households is because you had a high pregnancy where you're getting pregnant at a young age. And by the time you get to a man of virtue or a good man, God sent a good man your way, you're damaged goods. He don't want you. So God said that's not a virtuous woman. Even a bad man knows. See one. Women, stop letting yourself stop get settling for second best. Get God's best. Stop selling for second best. Get God's best. And to do that, you got to start off right. If you got daughters now, if you living that way right now, I'm not saying you should stop living that way, but make points in your life. Start praying to God. Go to your churches. Get saved. Start getting a good Bible believing church. Getting one of your bodies no more sheep, and start praying for God to make a change. Not staying the same. This shouldn't be growing. That's what it's doing. The only thing going on there is whites. Whites are catching up to us. And that's because the devil said, now it's your turn. You done did a good job of getting them. I'm not giving you a pass. I just let you escape for a little while. Now it's your turn, right? I'm going to get you too. And you whites, you can believe the whites are fighting. They're fighting. They're not like us. They're not embracing it. They're not saying, I'm going to sell you money anyway. But guess what? They're not going to win. This is the devil we're fighting. They're not going to win the fight as a whole. Now, saying all that, we need solutions. You know, I say enough. I can't say enough. All that we need solutions. God gives me vision. I'm not going to just say these things and put these things out there and not give solutions. Now, earlier I said that, and I'm going to hold my Bible while I'm talking because I'm going to talk about solutions now. Earlier I said that God put visions in my head, and He does. Now, I don't see how He don't put visions in Mr. Farrakhan's head. I don't see how He don't put visions in Jesse Jackson's head. I don't see how He don't put visions in the NAACP's head. But it doesn't take overnight to solve a problem that's spirit. Do correct. Now, I'm gonna get on to my visions. Now, one thing I said earlier, I said we can eradicate racism if we atone for what we're doing. First thing we need to do, and this is my solution portion of this video. We're not going to be talking so bad. I might get back to some of this stuff, but solutions are very important. First and foremost, we need to atone and ask God for forgiveness and change our ways. That's Africans and African Americans. Second thing we need to do, I said if we do that, we can wipe out racism. And I believe, stop wearing it as a badge of honor and letting somebody else do it. All we have to do is atone as a whole, and we can wipe out racism. And I'm going to give you proof. From the visions in my head, I'm going to give you proof. There's African Americans everywhere on the planet. Everywhere. We're all over the place. Everywhere we go, we bring this hip-hop negative garbage with us. And this is why no one wants us around. White people don't want you. I'm not saying you're going to take out racism altogether. You're going to have people that have their preference, or I'd rather be around this than that. We're always going to have that. We're always going to have that. But the negative institutional racism where I don't want that person disgusts me. Of course we're disgusted people when we carry stuff like this around. White people are afraid to say they don't want a black person in their house They don't want you to bring this garbage with you, okay? They don't want their daughter to see this because it's going to be hard for them to explain. Of course, they got Ivy League. They go to Ivy League schools and everything. We complain about all that. We don't have opportunity. But I'm telling you, we can wipe out institutional racism if we change our behavior. Our behavior. And we and just institute racism would disappear. It would take 20 years. 5 years tops. That sounds unbelievable, but I'm going to prove it to you that can be done. The country of Britain, your country, African Americans over there, you're starting to see a lot more of them in our media. Because our media is growing. Internet's growing, movies are growing, starting to see a lot more of them. They don't have a racial problem as bad as we do. They don't. Why is that? Because the African Americans or the Africans, we call ourselves. How do? And I don't see how other people of the world don't know. And little old me, God has blessed me to tell you. I'm gonna get to that in a few minutes because I don't even know what to call it. But the black people, we settle for the word black. That's not a race. That's a crayon. That's a color. Well, the black people in Europe, Britain black people don't act this way because they conform to that culture over there. And you can see it in our acting. They're well-esteemed people. There's not that much racism in Britain. British. I'm sorry, British. You're always going to have preference. You're always going to not like something. But you can look at the actor, Idris Elba. He played in Taken. Very good actor, very upstanding man. If any woman ever wanted a good man, he would be a role model for a great black man. And I hate using that term black. I'm going to tell you why in a few minutes. I got a solution for that too. I hate using that term black. But he is a good man. The guy that played in the James Bond movie, the black guy in James Bond movies, if you look at his work, he plays in also a movie called Punisher War Zone. Very good, upstanding man. I have a whorish nature. They don't allow this kind of, this would be clean in the kingdom. They don't allow this junk over there. Not as much. Because it's spreading, and the devil is spreading. They don't allow our women, they don't degrade their stuff. They don't debase their stuff like this. Let me see who else. If you ever watch the show Oz, Adebisi, the guy that played Adebisi, and the guy that played the two black leading roles, the guy that played the Muslim leader, they're both British actors. I never even knew that. But they're coming out now because they got to do interviews and you see them and you're talking. I'm like, wow, these are well-to-do, well-astute black men. And there's not that much racism in their country. Why? Their behavior. This stuff has not yet reached them yet. They're natural black people. The way that God meant them to be. This is not an embarrassment on us. This is not what you're supposed to be. This is not black. Those that we were to atone for how we act and call a spade a spade, call the devil the devil. Say the hip-hop community is a form of art, calling this modeling. God don't like liars. I see why the Bible says liars won't enter the kingdom of heaven. We got some pretty big lies. We got some pretty big lies. This is literature. This is porn. Now, it's right in that section. If you look at things, you use a mind. My mind is good because God made it that way. If you go on to Walmart and you see these books, they're right in the romance section, which makes pretty good sense. But even the romance novels don't talk hard. They should make we get God respect just by putting it in a different area. This is porn. This is soft porn. Talking about drugs, thugs, and we ain't ashamed to put the stuff right in the title. Thug and me. And me. This right here, I mean, you can't get no clearer. The devil can't get no clearer with you. Thug in me. It's in you. If my daughter reads this, who's the thug in? Is it in him? Is it in her? It really don't matter. They're both African American. Why don't we just say the thug in us? Because that's what's happening. And we glorify it. Our girls becoming thugs, and our children, they know our and we wonder why. We're wondering why the stats are the way they are. Well, I'm here to tell you that's why they are. But I'm going to give you solutions as well. Let me get off of this because I really don't like touching it. I really don't like touching it. You might think I'm lying or I'm crazy, but I really don't even like touching it. My children, when I go in the store, when I go up to the section, I turn the books around. My son, he's 7 years old. He started to do the same thing, turn the books around. I'm proud of him because he shouldn't touch that. That's detrimental to the athlete. That's detrimental to this skin color. That's detrimental. Now, what I was saying, African British community, and you'll see that they have a very good life. And the Caucasians over there do not even treat them the same as people treat over here. You might say that that's an American problem. It's not an American problem. It's nowadays, it's our behavior. It's not our history. Our history was one thing. And let's get to that. Let's get to our history. Now, for the people out there that say it's white people's fault and it's slavery's fault, you're wrong. You're wrong and you're a liar. You're wrong and you're just a lie straight out of hell. Okay, that was years ago, billions of years ago. Not billions of years ago, I'm just using it's not billions of years ago, but I'm just saying. That was so long ago, we should be so advanced by now to solve that. And I'm going to tell you why it never was a problem. You're ashamed of something that history, that's how America was founded. We need to atone for that. The reason why, another solution, the reason why we haven't solved our history problem is because we haven't got together as a united country. Whites and racial. You don't see no white people at the race. I've seen a racial summit. Al Sharpton showed up. Jesse Jackson showed up. Mr. Farrakhan showed up. Everybody showed up. Black leader, Cornel West, this person and that person. They sat down and they talked. Guess what? Things seem to still be the same. This is the product of your talk. Next time you have a racial summit, I have a buddy in college, David Drake, went to college with me. He said, Chris, when I grow up, we were just talking, that's just a figure of speech as well. He said, I'm going to be here the national. I thought, well, he's white. That's right. He said, so what should that matter? He said, I think I can make more difference inside the NAACP than the track record that y'all got going now. You know, I thought about it. He's right. Bill Clinton could be the next president of the NAACP. He probably could make better changes. You know why? Because that's the unified decision to work together to stop this. That's what we don't have. Everybody's working on it by themselves because everybody wants to believe that the other person is at fault. Let's stop assigning blame and take responsibility for our history. And our history ain't that bad. We have Black History Month, which I think also, we'll get to this name thing. It shouldn't be Black History Month. It should be African American Heritage Month. Everybody else got heritage. I love the word heritage. When you see the Confederate flag, first thing Confederates or Southern white slaves, this is our heritage. Heritage is a good word. It symbols your history, your legacy, which you've brought forth, your good. This is not a heritage. This trash is not heritage. Of course, you can call it Black History Month because there's no heritage in it at all. Well, actually, there's a lot of heritage. When we talk about Barack Obama, we talk about Frederick Douglass, we talk about Martin Luther King. We call it African American Heritage Month, and not Black History Month. That would help 100% right there. You know, names and images is important. But we can get back. I'm gonna get back to that. I got a lot. Believe me, I got a lot in this head. God has put a lot in this head. A lot of visions. Well, anyway, the next time we have an African American summit or a summit on race relations, how about whites be there, Hispanics be there, Asians? I bet you we can solve it. That looked like unity. That looked like what God had in mind from the Bible point of view. That looked like what God had in mind. If we all got together, we study that and how they did that. But I'm telling you right now, I already know how. They atone together. They atone together. They feel sorry for what happened. They feel sorry for our history. And they look to God and they say, God, we want to change this. We are sorry for our part in it, white and black. We don't just have a victim. We don't just have an oppressor. All of us are at fault. No, everybody falls short of the glory of God. I'm going to tell you right now, slavery. I'm going to solve it right here, right here, right here, right now. Vision God gave to me. Slavery is not a bad thing. Slavery should be a badge of honor to a black man. You built cities, you built buildings, you built a whole civilization on slavery. And that wasn't just in America. In Africa, everybody's wondering, your pyramids are in Africa. Your pyramids are in Egypt, in Africa. To this day, who built them? Well, who else was there? We might not know who built them, because they didn't have the tools to build a pyramid back in the day. And so advanced. Aliens did. Well, the only people that was there that you can give the credit to were slaves. They were the only ones doing work at the time. They were black. Yet we have such a hard time with slavery. I like to get there. We need to, over here in America, we need to call it slavery. Slavery was a custom back then. We just brought them to America, that's all. We might have brought them illegally, but slavery was the way of the land, all the earth. Slaves were important people, and of course black people, slaves were, black people were superior in physical form. Look at Venus and Serena. In these sports. Tennis, they can do anything. That's superiority at its best. And you let people tell you that it's wrong, that somebody else is superior. White supremacy is such a big thing that holds you back. And you got Venus and Serena making people work. The one lady said in the article, she had to work out just to keep up with the woman. Had to work out to the next tennis open because I'm going against Venus and Serena. I got to work out. Labor Day. National Labor Day. And we should give honor to the slaves. I like to see a movie being, not a negative one, a good movie made about slaves. And I'm going to tell you why. I know a lot of people are yelling and screaming right now. I'm going to tell you why. Slaves are the equivalent to pilgrims. Pilgrims came over here, the Indians stole the land, and yet we got a holiday named for them, Thanksgiving Day. We talk about the pilgrims and talk about how they settled in the land, they made the land so great and everything like that. We give honor to our history. We get negative things. Slaves are no good, dirty, downright rotten people. They are the worst thing on the earth. Worst thing you can call somebody is you a damn slave. Well, guess what? Slaves built the world. Okay? And they did it on a superior back. The slaves should be honored. You should hold slaves in high esteem. Everybody, whites and blacks. Whites wanted slaves. They weren't willing to do the work themselves. That should say a lot about you, African American man. I say I love you. Thanks. You telling me I'm a good person, I'm a good person. I can do amazing things. The slaves built pyramids. Slaves, I don't care, even if the aliens did come, and architect the work of the pyramids, I bet you they used the slaves to build it. I bet you they used the people that was there to build it. I bet you any amount of money. Slaves are a wonderful thing. I'm clearing that up right now. That's from God. That's what God told me. And I had a debate with a racist person one time. He wanted to bring up slaves. I said, I'm proud of slaves. He said, oh, how could you be proud of slaves? Because it's a negative thing. He wanted to throw it racist. I said, if you can be proud of that and you can hold your head up about the pilgrims and how they got here and the leaky old boat, I can hold my head up and be proud of slaves that built a nation. So, African American people, that's another solution. Count these solutions. Go back and watch me. These solutions are coming because they just come to me. God just give them to me, you know. Now, back to our leaders not doing anything. Our leaders need to gather together a racial summit. Of course, we need to atone, then we need to talk. One of the ideas, I just released the idea right there. Image. Let me get to another one. Hollywood. Recently, there's been an argument with Tyler Perry versus Spike Lee. Tyler Perry wins. In God's eyesight, Tyler Perry wins. In God's eyesight, Tyler Perry wins. I'm gonna tell you why. Because he has vision. Back in the day, in the 80s, all they made is more black movies. all New Jack City in the hood and don't drink juice in the Minister Society, all that trash and junk that we showed out. Once again, our media and Spike Lee and his generation. You know, look at him. And he needs to stop pretending like he's something else. Oh, I paved the way. You right, you paved the way and all that, but let's pave the way and let Tyler Perry do his thing. Tyler Perry is a visionary. He's making, the reason why there's not more black images in Hollywood, there's not more black actors at work, it's not because nothing racism. It's because we don't have nobody out there making projects for them. Tyler Perry is making projects. And guess what? Nobody's dying in his movies. Drugs are not being sold. He's uplifting, and it's working. Okay? Now, it might not have worked back then, but it's working. And it's working. Our biggest cult classic is the biggest black cult classic out there is New Jack City, a drug movie. These things are disgusting. When Denzel Washington played Training Day, he got an award for it. Why? Because it romances that hip-hop culture that's all in us all. The devil is rewarding, patting people on the back. Not you, Denzel Washington, but the movie worked so well, people came out in numbers because that's what they want to see. Well, we did not give them what they want. If I was in Hollywood, I'd be making a real movie. And it wouldn't care how much money. Spike Lee said back in the day, all those guys back in the brothers, I got named, said, oh, we couldn't get black audiences to come out and see the movies. Well, last time I checked, cult classics, they didn't do the movies for money. They did it because that was the image that they want to portray about themselves. That's what worked well about white movies. When they get a movie, there's a lot of flops out there. One of the movies I talked about was a flop, Punisher Warzone, that the British guy was in. Punisher Warzone was a movie about a vigilante, comic vigilante, that I like, Punisher. It didn't make money, but it was a damn good movie. They make movies to entertain, not to you have a desire to show something of art worthiness. We make this for money. This is something you do for money. Trash. We don't have people. Tyler Perry, he did a movie low budget and everything. He was rewarded for it because he had a vision. I like a movie idea right now. Right now in this day and age. And it probably wouldn't work that well because nobody wants to make a type of movie. But just like I said about the slaves making the pyramid, we can call it Egypt's might. Egypt's might. See how they just do it? That's boom. And that's a working title. Egypt's might. And have slaves and have it be a documentary about how the pyramids was built. And the controversy of the aliens, throwing the controversy that no one knows how they did it, throwing the controversy they want to take the credit away from slaves and give it to somebody else. Call it Egypt's might. That's a movie idea. Halle Berry can play in it. Denzel Washington. All Africans can play. They can be slaves. Halle Berry could be a slave in the king's mansion. Denzel Washington could be one of the slaves building the pyramids. They can have tragedy in it, the bricks falling on people and everything. That's a movie. Well, black people won't go out and see a movie like that. It doesn't matter as long as it gets made. It can become a cult classic later. That's the art and vision of your mind. Okay? It don't take a rocket scientist to make a movie about niggers running down the street, sticking somebody up, selling appeal. I would fail Egypt's might than even get on the set of one of those stupid ass movies. Lord forgive me for cursing, but I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I wouldn't step foot on a set like that. It'd be a waste of my time. It'd be a waste of the intellect that God gave me. I'd rather make Egypt's might. I'd rather waste my whole life making a movie that only 10,000 people came to see. I'd rather do that because it would be a cultural significance. But I guarantee you, if I was to make it and break my neck, it would be groundbreaking and it would get an award. Same way Mel Gibson did Passion of Christ. They told him, no, you're not going to do it. We're not going to touch religious overtones. No, we're not going to do it. He said, I'm going to do it anyway. Spike Lee, give him credit. He did Malcolm X. Said, I'm going to do it anyway. And use credit cards to do it. These people got rewarded for that. So don't sit there and tell me that image of our black people is not, can change it. That's a solution. People in Hollywood, you need to start making projects. Stop being an actor. I just thought of a project off the top of my head making a video talking to you right now. That's how good God is. We need to start making projects for our people. Stop waiting. Whites are not going to make issues right. It has nothing to do with that. They make the movie Alexander, which flopped. Not about the movie. I like it. I like it about Alexander. He was homosexual, and he conquered the movie. Everything we detest about white supremacy, Alexander was. He ran around conquering nations and everything. But you know what? The movie gave fire to my heart. And they make movies like that about themselves to make them at their approves what he's doing, I approve what he's doing. Hats off to him. Image is everything. People in Hollywood, you need to start making more image-based movies. BET needs to start making TV shows. I'm so tired of Jersey Shore. I'm so tired of Bad Girls Clubs. These are shows catering to what the devil's doing once again. And TV One has came out with another TV network doing it just fine. But you ain't going to do nothing while BET is still running. The BET show and trash. They shouldn't have got a choice. See? God would have TV shows. Real good. Law and Order. CSI. It's just a theme. You could do the same. You could have Law and Order Urban. No, not CSI Urban. Much as crime that happened in an urban community, you can make a TV show. The Wire was good. We can reverse it. The Wire was good. You can reverse it and have CSI Urban. And then having solving crimes in Baltimore City, solving crimes. They had sex here, everything. The show will go on to be just as successful as Law and Order or CSI. Why our networks don't do it is a bit beyond me. They have three networks. Every network they make sci-fi series. USA make original series. How come our black networks aren't making original series? We making documentaries and showing the old 80s exploitation movies. Because we don't have no vision, no ideas. We can't come up with something ourselves. Even if you can't come up with something, let a white person come up with something and put black people in it. They come up with really good ideas. Without a Trace, that TV show, I like that TV show. The Mentalist, Closer. You know, we need good shows that show us in a good light, good image. I got thousands of ideas in my head. Morris Chestnut, he one of the actors I like. I want to see him on a show called James Jeopardy, and I want the show to be called Double Jeopardy. And you know you can't be tried for a crime twice. I want to show people get off with crimes, and some of the judges they call this guy in James Jeopardy that used to be because someone got off a crime and killed his wife and family, and he goes after them and he plants evidence on them. And he makes them come back to court. Like if someone gets off for murder, he'll go to us and set that person up and make it look like that person was a drug dealer, and then call the cops in, and the cops are prosecuted for a new crime. And the cops and the DA be thanking him and everything, and he's a good, honorable person, even though he's working underneath for the law. And I wanted the show to be called Double Jeopardy. And I want the key character to be named James Jeopardy. See how I thought about that just right off of my head? And we don't do that. Our network don't do that. Our networks don't do that. Our networks want to show rap videos. I'm telling you right now, this stuff needs to stop. God needs to see better from us. He needs to see better from our churches. Our churches need to start, another solution, our churches need to start combating this. Speak up against it. You don't have to do nothing more than that. You don't have to make no program. You don't have to start not one program. You don't have to start a program mentoring to young boys. You don't have to, we got enough of them. They don't seem to be working because this reality is dead. What we need to do is combat. Our churches will start growing and we start doing God's business. Combat evil. When you talk about everybody seems to be wondering why homosexuality is wrong. Everybody now is becoming another choice. Something else to go to. Just over there. It's right. Why is it right? Because you let it be a choice. You just tell me why. Why is it wrong? People saying that homosexual, God never said nothing about homosexuality in the Bible. That's not true. It says right all through the Bible. It says why it's wrong. And I can say why it's wrong. I can say why it's wrong right here on the video. You help a lot of people out, but I'm not just shooting stuff out my mouth. It's wrong because there's lies involved in that type of stuff. Not because of it's wrong because they lie about it. They say that they're born that way. That is the biggest thing wrong with homosexuals. They get that lie across, and your child has another choice to go to, a valid choice. Now, a lot of people are mad right now because I said that, but if it's a lie and it's not true, then it's a lie. They're not born that way. Like I said earlier, how can you be born with your past? How come? And how girls come and say, "Oh, I'm gay," and they look gay. You can't tell the way a gay person looks. They either gay or they're not gay. You shouldn't tell someone, "Hey, I look gay." You just tell them, "Oh, you're acting gay." That means you're lying. You're creating a misperception of who you really are. That's not what God made you. And you're doing. We gotta get to the reason why you're doing it. You know, most of women do it because they can't. No man wants them, or men exploit them in such a way that they'd rather turn to women. Tell the truth. Okay, that's what's going on with homosexuality. That's why it's such an abomination to God. It's not about what the act they're doing. It's about the lies that they're telling to support it. They're supporting a whole. They want you to believe that there's victims and everything. No, that's a sex act. I can't get okay. Right now, if I like screwing my parrot, I got a parrot, and I want to make love to it. You know what? I can't get a woman, and that parrot's been loyal. That parrot's been in my pants for years. If I start making a relationship with that parrot, and I'm trying to marry that parrot, I can do whatever I want. It's a free country. I can do whatever I want. But if I wake up one day and say I was born to love that parrot, I'll be damn well lying. And I want rights, and I want to base a whole foundation of, you know how many people, if I was to prove something like that, people would date and doing the most perfect thing just because someone said so. And that's what's happening nowadays. All people got to do is say something, and then try to prove it by falsehood and lie, and you believe it. African American race is gullible for a lot of stuff. Now we got our children running around being gay. You know what I said? I said being gay. I ain't say born nothing. Because we didn't have this a couple years ago. Oh, people was in the closet. No, they wasn't in the closet. They just knew how to keep their mouth shut. But you can't see gay. You can't see gay. You can't determine whether somebody's gay just by looking at them. They have to act their behavior with it. Don't lie to people though. Okay, let's just get to one more solution, and then I gotta in this video. Sorry to say. I'm just hoping and praying that everybody, God, that people are praying right now, Lord God, that people understand what I'm trying to say, and they'll take it to heart, Lord God, and they'll do something about it, Lord God. Even if one person atone and turn from their wicked ways, God, and turn to you, that would be great. Christ, amen. What to name ourselves? What to name ourselves? What to name ourselves? Okay. Can't be called black. But I'm not black. We can't call ourselves Negroes because we didn't make that word. There's no such thing as Negroes. Somebody else said that word and classified us. Somebody else. Now, God has given me another vision. We have a hard time describing ourselves around the planet. That's because we don't have one word to describe us. African American, Jesse Jackson tribe is a good tribe, but it's not a tribe. African Americans is not what we are. We just named two months. Now, African Americans have one word, Caucasian. That describes them everywhere. I'm a Caucasian. Okay, it has nothing to do with where I'm from. Wherever I am at, I'm a Caucasian. Okay? African Americans, wherever they're at, what are they? There's no classified word for it. The biggest problem with the census lately was nobody knew how to describe African Americans. Nobody knew how to classify us. God has given little old me, told me what we should be doing. I'm going to tell you guys now. It's simple. Every other race, you need to look at how they name themselves. Africans, named themselves from their Africa, from their continent. Caucasians named themselves from the Caucasus Mountains, where they're from. But the key thing is they named their self. We have never got the opportunity to name ourselves. We have never got the opportunity to name ourselves. Now the problem is that we haven't classified. Now we can think of names. A name we think of come to mind: black, Negroes, this, that. We don't have a name for ourselves. The problem is we let everybody else name us. The word Negro was made up by somebody else. It's actually a Spanish word. That has nothing to do with African American. That's Spanish. Black, that's a crayon box. Okay. African American, that's two continents. So put that together from what do we classify ourselves? It's simple. We need to go back to the African land, find something that we can name ourselves from. Now, what I realize is every other race has a should. I like to say a should. Every other race has a should. An Asian, a Caucasian, American. You ever have a should or a can. We don't have a word like that. But I know a word like that. And we like to call ourselves as a badge. Now, we all could be Nubians because the Nubian kingdom is extinct. In fact, Caucasians named itself from the mountains. We could all be classified as Nubians. But it would take somebody with a big brain, with some more sense than me currently, to do something like that, or should it. But what we don't do is we don't let someone else classify us. We need to classify ourselves. And once that classification comes, then we will all realize that we are a honorable and good people, and we would not settle for this type of behavior. I'm in this video now. I'm going to interview him a little later. He's a young African American male. And he got a lot of insight. He's a godly person too. He's a Christian, and Christianity has worked just fine for him. And we're going to talk about a whole lot of things in the future. And he's atoning for certain things like this. We talked lately about this negative appetite. This is not what God wants our females to be. That's not what I want us to be. Now, I'm in this video. I hope everybody learns something. But that's my message from the Lord. We have to atone for what we're doing. Hip-hop community, atone, give ourselves a name, have a race summit that's for real, that's concluded, unified with everybody, and it could end racism. I'm saying right now on video, we could end racism. Just atoning for atoning for Europe, in Britain, the British. I like that word Nubian. I don't like black. British Nubians have done it just fine. British Nubians have done it just fine. Honorable Eldridge Elba, he's an upstanding, and people look up to him like that. When they see him coming, they roll out the red carpet. This niggerish stuff, God's not going to roll out the red carpet for us. God bless y'all. And if we reverse the trend on us, and we're the worst at everything. But just think if God blessed us, what would happen? The reason why we are the way we are, why we take the diseases so prevalent in us, and everything takes to us so good, is because we're great people. If we had, just like we have 100% bad, just how much good, if God, we could have, just look how far this man has got. It would be 100% in us. Whatever we did, people will follow. And we talked, people will say, people will listen, if we were honorable people. God made everything, multiply everything on black people. Because we're supposed to be the multiply. Everything that comes from us is supposed to be the trend setting. What trends are we setting? We setting trends for the devil. Think if we would start setting trends for God and stop setting trends for the devil, we will be outstanding at it. We will be in the forefront. And that's why people oppress you. That's why people put you down. And that's why God wanted you to triumph out of it and show that you were godly people and that you're not the people the black people that you say you are. God to you. I hope you learned something, and God bless you, and Godspeed. Bye.